Hello, everyone. Today, I have to share the story of what I thought was the biggest betrayal of my life. The day I realized the person I loved the most valued money over our family's entire history. My house, a glorious stretch of sand and sea, wasn't just wood and glass. It was the entire timeline of my adult life. 40 years. My husband, Thomas, and I built this home ourselves, right down to the last weathered plank and ocean blue tile. We called it the anchorage. When Thomas passed away 5 years ago, it became my sanctuary, the last physical connection I had to him and the intended legacy for our daughter, Rhea. I knew Rhea was practical, but I never imagined her mind could harbor such coldness. For years, she had suggested I downsize. Mom, it's too much upkeep for one person. Think of the taxes. Her voice, always laced with concern, was, in hindsight, merely coated in greed. I dismissed it, clinging to the home where my memories lived. Then, on a rainy Tuesday afternoon, the phone rang. The screen flashed Rhea's name. I answered, expecting our usual chat, but Rhea's voice was devoid of warmth, stripped down to pure transaction. She didn't say hello. She just announced, "Mom, you need to be out by the end of the month. We're leaving tomorrow. The beach house is sold. I signed the paperwork this morning. Bye." My heart literally seized. 40 years of life, gone. Sold. Without asking? I managed to choke out her name, but she was already gone. Hung up. I spent the next 48 hours in a suffocating fog of disbelief. The house felt alien. Every wave crashing on the shore sounded like a cruel joke. I tried calling Rhea back a dozen times. She finally replied with a text. "I already told you. I need the capital for my new investment fund. I found you a cute little assisted living apartment inland. It's what's best for you, Mom." Her words cut deeper than any knife. She wasn't just taking the house, she was taking my independence. Then, the eviction notice arrived, a cold legal document confirming a sale date. I crumpled the paper in my trembling hands, staring at the name of the seller, Rhea Montgomery. I had been completely ruined, made homeless, and utterly betrayed by my only child. I collapsed onto the floor, convinced that this was how my life would end, in sorrow, watching a stranger take my husband's final gift. But as I lay there staring at the dust motes dancing in the afternoon light, one tiny detail from 5 years ago floated into my mind, a detail Thomas had insisted upon. The memory was like a flicker in the dark. It wasn't about the furniture or the deed, it was about the safe. The old, rusted safe tucked away behind the plaster in the library wall. Thomas had always been a private man, especially about money. He called it future-proofing. A week before he died, Thomas insisted I open the safe. He didn't put anything new inside. He removed a single unmarked manila envelope and handed it to me. "Agnes," he said, his voice weak but firm, "I need you to promise me something. Don't open this until you feel truly lost, or until someone tries to take what is yours." He pressed the heavy envelope into my hand. "I've taken care of everything. This is my last move." I tucked the envelope into a small antique music box and promptly forgotten it, respecting his last wish. Now, staring at Rhea's cold, demanding text message, I knew this was the moment. I slowly climbed the stairs and retrieved the music box. My fingers trembled as I tore open the seal. Inside, there was not a deed, but a 2-page letter and a copy of a legal document. The letter was written in Thomas's familiar, sprawling script. I scanned the first few lines and a gasp escaped my lips. I dropped the eviction notice, my despair instantly transformed into a giddy, almost hysterical form of disbelief. The letter explained everything. Years ago, Thomas had bought a smaller, less valuable coastal property for a complex tax scheme. It was a messy, rundown plot 10 miles down the coast. When he learned his illness was terminal, he knew Rhea, who always saw the property as an asset, not a home, might try something drastic. He suspected her greed. So Thomas took 2 steps. Step 1, he quietly transferred the Anchorage, our beautiful beach house, into an irreversible family trust with me as the sole trustee, and no mention of Rhea in the ownership documents, only in the will, which was superseded by the trust. Step 2, he left the title to the old, worthless property outside the trust, keeping it in his personal name. Rhea, relying on old financial records and thinking she was clever, never checked the updated legal records before hiring a slimy real estate broker to execute the quick sale. She didn't sell my home. She sold Thomas's tax write-off. The feeling that washed over me was better than any lottery win. It was the sweet, profound satisfaction of vindication. Thomas hadn't just protected me, he had anticipated her betrayal and set a masterful trap. I looked at the eviction notice no longer with fear, but with a proud, tearful smile. I didn't call Rhea immediately. I waited until the closing date on the eviction notice, the very day she had set for the new owners to take possession. I knew she was waiting for my desperate, broken call. I let the phone ring unanswered. Finally, late that evening, Rhea called back. Her voice was sharp with confusion. "Mom, what is happening? The buyer's lawyer is saying the title is invalid. The property they bought is an old, tiny shack. It's not your house." I took a deep breath, the sound of the ocean wind filling the line from the Anchorage's balcony. "Rhea," I said, my voice steady, "did you really think your father and I wouldn't plan for our future? Did you think I was so easily discarded?" I paused, letting the silence hang heavy. "The house you sold was indeed in your father's name, but the beautiful home you're calling from now, the one you spent your childhood in, that was placed in a family trust 5 years ago with me as the sole trustee. The sale you executed, that was for his old abandoned tax write-off. You sold the wrong house, sweetheart." A long, agonizing silence followed. Then, as the immense realization of her blunder hit her, she screamed. I had taught her the hardest lesson of her life. Greed blinds you to the truth. I hung up. I didn't help her with the legal mess, the broker's fees, or the enraged buyer. She had to deal with the consequences of her own cynical plot. I stayed in the Anchorage, safe and whole. Thomas had given me the final victory. The house still stands by the sea. Rhea eventually sold her investment fund at a loss and moved far away. I often sit on the porch, watching the tide, and I remember Thomas's last words. "I've taken care of everything." The lesson learned was that the greatest wealth is not in the deed, but in the integrity you carry. A lesson Rhea paid a very high price to learn. What did you think of that twist? Let me know in the comments below. Have you ever faced a betrayal like this? If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button, subscribe for more stories of justice, and share this video with a friend. Until next time, stay strong.